How many times every day do you hear recorded music on the radios, on TV, in stores and elevators, even in the street? You'd never hear music if it weren't for loudspeakers. Electric sound making machines. Most of the music we hear around us is played back with big loudspeakers attached to stereos, or tiny earbud headphones, radios, televisions, computers, cellular phones, and more. Those are just some of the electric gadgets that make sounds with loudspeakers. What exactly are loudspeakers and how do they work? How a loudspeaker works. When a fluctuating electric current flows through the voice coil, it becomes a temporary electromagnetic attracted and repelled by the repellent magnet. As the coil moves, it moves the cone back and forth, pumping sound waves into the air. When things shake about or vibrate, they make the sounds we can hear in the world around us. Sound is invisible most of the time, but sometimes you can actually see it. At the front of a loudspeaker there is fabric, plastic, paper, or lightweight metal cone, sometimes called a diaphragm. The outer part of the cone is fastened with an outer part of the loudspeaker's circular metal rim. The inner part is fixed with an iron coil, sometimes called the voice coil. That sits just in front of the permanent magnet, sometimes the field magnet. When you hook up a loudspeaker to a stereo, electrical signals feed through the speaker cables into the coil. This turns the coil into a temporary magnet or electromagnet as the electricity flows back and forth in the cables. The electromagnetic either attracts or repels the permanent magnet. This moves the coil back and forward, pulling and pushing the loudspeaker cone. It goes back and forth. The moving cone pumps sounds out into the air. How speakers make sounds of different volume and frequency. Loudspeakers will play loud when cone vibrates a large amount, or soft when it moves a small amount. Think about drums. Banging a drum skin really hard makes the skin vibrate a greater distance and produce a louder sound. In the same way, sending a bigger pulse of electricity into the loudspeaker makes the cone move further and generates a louder noise. Quieter sounds are made by smaller pulses of electricity. We can reach the conclusion by thinking about energy. The laws of physics tell us we can make energy out of thin air. So, if we want to make a loud sound, one that carries lots of energy, we need to create a vibration with lots of energy in the first place. In other words, hit something really hard The opposite happens when you get much lower note. The similar thing happens in a loudspeaker. Bigger speakers with large cones known as woofers move more slowly than smaller speakers with smaller cones known as tweeters. They are better for producing lower frequencies. Any speaker can produce a wide range of different sound frequencies by moving back and forth quickly for higher notes or slowly or for lower notes. Speakers that need to produce high frequency sounds or ultrasound will be beyond the range of human hearing, sometimes be Halsey electric transducers based on vibrating crystals instead of traditional magnetic coil setup. Often referred to as crystal loudspeakers, just buzzers, they're also used to produce piercing sounds in things like telephone, ringers, and smoke alarms, where the effectiveness of the alert is much more important than its quality. What are the parts of the loudspeaker and what do they do? The diaphragm cone moves in and out to push the air and make sound. Dust cap dome protects the voice coil from dust and dirt. The surround. Surround. A piece of elastic rubber, foam, or textile or flexibility fastens the diaphragm to the basket outer frame. Basket. A sturdy metal framework around which the loudspeaker is built. Spider suspension. A flexible, corrugated support that holds the voice coil in place while allowing it to move freely. Magnet. Typically made from ferrite or powerful neodymium. Bottom plate. Made of soft iron. Pole piece. Concentrates the magnetic field produced by the voice coil. Voice coil. The voice coil that moves the diaphragm back and forth. Former. A cylinder of cardboard or other material into which the coil is wound. Top plate. Also made of soft iron. Cables. Connect the stereo amplifier unit to the voice coil. Listening with both ears, stereo, quad, or binaural. When sound comes from a single loudspeaker, we say it's mono or non-mono. Mono is like sound of one person taking the sound source that's fixed in one place. Stereo. Stereo sound is very different. The first time you hear stereo, it sounds like a miracle where sounds coming from how do they move around your head like that. Stereo is a simple trick. Two loudspeakers each play slightly different sounds. Just our ears, brains resemble the noises into two-dimensional soundscape. If you listen to music with headphones, you'll be used in a way that stereo sound jumps back and forth between your ears. You might hear a drum beating in one ear and a guitar playing in the other. Well guys, that was on how a speaker works. It's pretty interesting. Hope you enjoyed it.